ketamine has saved my life, literally. And I'm not saying this lightly. I'm not saying this for attention. None of this is it's not for myself. I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for others because I know that this can help others and I want to truly help you. My issue was severe anxiety for almost 5 months. So let's say 4 months and some change. Anxiety every single night. Uncontrollable anxiety every single night. And I would be fine in the daytime. It just every night before bed, I'd be sitting there watching TV or I'd be sitting on the computer and I'd get a cold chill. And once I got the cold chill, I know that next was going to be the anxiety attack. And to explain the anxiety attack, it was you're tired, you're yawning, you want to sleep so bad, but you can't. You're restless. You have restless leg syndrome. You can't lay down longer than probably 30 seconds to a minute without just being agitated or irritated and have to get back up and walk around, sit on the computer. You had to occupy your mind. And I would be up for days and days and days and days. And it was some of the worst pain I've ever experienced. And I've been through a lot. I've had concussions. I've broken multiple bones. I've been in the ICU for 10 days because of a doctor messed up a surgery and literally almost killed me. Like, I've been through some pain, and nothing is worse than mental pain that you can't control. And, my girl was like, it's all in your head. You're fine. And don't get upset with people in your life that is going to tell you that, because you need to understand that they don't understand. This is anxiety. You don't know where it's coming from. My anxiety, all anxiety could be different, but for the most part, it's all pretty much the same. But my anxiety was, I didn't know where it was coming from. I don't know why it was hitting me at certain times. I wasn't in fear. I wasn't scared, because she'd be like, oh, you're home, you're safe, there's nothing to worry about. And it's like, I know all this. I'm not worried. I just feel like complete crap. And it was all because of a dopamine hit. My dopamine was so low at night that it was causing this pain. And I'll explain why here soon. But over time, you need to understand, as we get older, the part of our brain that controls anxiety, those neurons can become disconnected depending on your life choices and also depending on your age. Well, those neurons, instead of masking the problem, putting a Band-Aid over the problem with like a clonazepam, diazepam, some type of benzo diet, like some type of Xanax, whatever, that's only going to mask the problem. Don't get me wrong. You take one of those, you're going to start feeling better. And I don't judge you at all. But wouldn't you rather fix the problem? Wouldn't you rather fix the neurons? Because that's what ketamine can do for you. It can literally connect and reconnect the neurons that are disconnected. Over time, it takes several months, they say. Now, the beautiful thing about ketamine is that it can treat severe depression. Now, I don't have depression, although I might have slight depression, but I don't feel like I do. I don't feel like I'm the type of person to have depression. I'm very positive. And, being positive has helped me a lot throughout this whole entire process. Without my positivity, I don't know if I would be here today, because with almost 5 months of pain nonstop, like at night, it's hard to make it through that. You have to truly love life and understand that, there will be a better day. This too shall pass. And that's what I kept telling myself. I was like, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. I was praying to God every single night that I would find a reason, like find a cure, find the answer, because with that much pain, and why wouldn't you want the answer? Why wouldn't you want to find the cure? Like, I don't understand. If you have these issues, why aren't you actively looking for some type of way of feeling just better, even for an hour? So anyway, my dopamine was lowered due to my choices in life. If you look back on my history, I really enjoy bodybuilding. I like getting bigger, stronger, faster. You could look at my Instagram and see the multiple different physiques that I had over time. Well, I'm the type of person that goes in the gym and goes extremely hard to where I'm hurt for days. And I experienced opioids at a younger age and always knew that I liked them, but I could always control myself. I'm one of those people that can do things in moderation. Never like to drink alcohol to get drunk. I only like to drink alcohol to feel good. Like, I always do things in moderation, and that's one of my good qualities, right? And that's one of the things that helped me through this process. But about once a month, I would get injured in the gym, or even not in the gym, just like a back injury. I'm disabled by the VA, right? So I get these like phantom, standing up, stretching, whatever, and I'll hear my back click, and I just know that I'm going to be in pain for days. And I mean pain to where I can't even get out of bed, where I tweak a muscle or tweak a muscle in my neck and it's just over. But in the gym, certain situations when you're doing certain movements and you say you don't, I guess, warm up enough, you'll injure yourself, and you just know like, hey, I might as well walk out of here right now, because if I continue this workout, it's just going to hurt worse when I'm done. The adrenaline's going to run off, and the inflammation is going to be 10 times worse. So I might as well go home. So anytime I hurt myself in the gym, most of the time I would just walk out the door. I'd be like, nope, I'm done. And I would come home, and try to do things to lower the pain, like ice, then going to heat, then going back to ice, resting, drinking cherry juice for the inflammation, tart cherry juice, doing everything in my power to lower the inflammation. But there was times where the pain was too much. And if I had opioids like an Oxy or Percocet or whatever, Vicodin, I would take it. So I always save those for those days. So you're talking maybe once a month or once every couple months, I would take one of those painkillers, which is not really a big deal at all, right? It's not the best choice, but it's not a big deal, because it helped me get through my day and helped me be able to do things around the house and work on the computer like I am right now. So it wasn't that big of a deal. Well, as time went by, I didn't have any more, and I injured myself in the gym. So I went to a friend to get certain opioid, and I asked him for Oxy and Vicodin and all this stuff, and he's like, I don't have any of that. He's like, but I have this pill that's like an Oxy. And I'm sure you know where I'm getting with this. He gave me let's call it a street Oxy, which is not an Oxycontin. It's way stronger than that. And he told me what, he's like, this is way stronger. He's like, I would start with just taking, a quarter of a quarter of a quarter. I said, okay. So, I took a bite, the smallest bite possible. And I mean, it took my pain, right? It just took it away. And I felt a feeling I've never felt before, because it's messing with your dopamine. It's messing with the way you feel. It's making your pain go away. It's numbing the pain. And I realized, this is really weird, because it ain't common, but you have to understand I do things in moderation, and I'm, a different, unique person, So it made me alert and awake in a sense to where I could be up and be numb, be wide awake, not be in pain. And I could stay up all night and just work. And at the time I was in college, and I mean, throughout college, I had a 4.0 GPA the entire time. And, I was doing this painkiller every now and then when I needed it. When I was injured, I still stuck to that. But then I realized that how it could keep me up at night if I had to, write a long essay or do a bunch of different tests or whatnot. I realized if I took a couple bites of this pill throughout the night, I could stay up all night. Well, you do that for a day or two, you're going to be addicted to those little bites. And it doesn't seem bad in the beginning, because it's like you only need it at like maybe once a day, twice a day. But the way this addiction works, it just gradually gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And you go from buying 2 pills, 3 pills to buying 10 pills. And then next thing you know, you're buying 20 pills instead of 10 pills. And next thing you know, you're buying 100 pills instead of 20 pills. And next thing you know, you're buying 1,000 pills instead of 100 pills. And next thing you know, you're buying thousands of pills, because you just build this tolerance, and taking the pill orally doesn't work anymore. So you start shooting it up your nose to get an immediate hit, and it just completely takes over your entire life. And the craziest thing is I was probably doing 20 plus pills a day at the end. And I knew it was a problem the entire time. I needed one every couple hours. If I didn't take one, I feel like complete shit. I remember my first experience of withdrawals, and it was in the beginning. It was like the first couple weeks. And I'm like, why do I feel this way? And I ran out. And I couldn't get a hold of this guy. And I'm like, why do I feel this way? Why is this feeling so terrible? I'm so tired. I'm yawning. My eyes are watering. I can't sleep. I'm shaking. I'm cold, but I'm hot. Like, I'm just feeling like complete just dog shit. And finally, I get a hold of that person the next morning after experiencing, 10 hours of no sleep and terrible withdrawals. And I'm just strung out, and I'm just pissed off. And I'm finally like, where have you been? And I'm mad at him. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was sleeping. And, I blew up his phone. blew up his phone. Finally went over and knocked on his door. Didn't even care. Like a drug addict would. And I just knew, like, man, this is bad. So anytime I got close to running out, or even close to running out, like my last 50 pills, I would always try to get a hold of them. But it would take days sometimes to get a hold of them. I would run out and just, I wouldn't know what to do. And depending on somebody for your fix is terrible. There was times I'd be like, hey man, give me an order of 500 or something. And he'd be like, yeah, I can't, I'm running out myself. I'm going to go get an order today. And then he'd give me like 10. So then my 10, I'd run out of 10 by the end of the night. And I'd be like, he'd be like, oh, I didn't get it yet. Here's 5. He's like, oh, here's 2. I didn't get it yet. I'm going to get it tomorrow. I mean, so I'm feeling like shit off and on for days until he finally goes and picks it up. And I'm like, I can't live like this. I can't allow someone else to pretty much have control of my life and to have this pill have control of my life. I can't do it. And obviously the biggest picture is by getting addicted to this pill for, and I was off and on for years. Like, I want to say 2 years off and on. I would go to the clinic, get help, and I'd be doing pretty good. And then I would fall apart again. And it's sad. It's truly sad. Unfortunately, the individual that was supplying me, he's been addicted for 10 plus years and he's still addicted. And I've been trying to help him, trying to convince him to do this, and he's just not ready. The biggest factor is him and his girl are in the same boat. So they both have to be ready at the same time. And when he is ready, she's not ready. So it's rather disappointing and it's hard to watch, but they're both very good people. They really are. They're very good people. And I truly like these people, even though they put me in this situation. You can't blame them. It's more my fault than anything. But when you do these certain types of narcotics or whatever you want to call them, street drugs, it gives you this dopamine spike that you're looking for. And if you don't have it, you're going to feel terrible. Your blood pressure is going to spike. Your anxiety is going to spike. You're going to feel pain that you've never felt before. The most important part of your body is your mental. It's your brain. Without having control of that and without having that working properly, the rest of your body will just follow suit and your immunity will drop. You'll feel terrible. Your life it'll feel like it's ending. And I don't hate anyone in this life. I don't hate anyone in this world. But if I did, I still wouldn't wish this pain on them. I wouldn't wish this pain on anyone, not even my worst enemy, but I don't have an enemy. But you get what I'm trying to say here. So this completely saturates your dopamine level to where even when you come off for months, say you get help, you get treatment, you go to rehab, your dopamine level is still going to be destroyed for years. And from what I'm reading, it's probably going to be almost a year and a half, 2 years to where you can fix your dopamine level. So that's why every night I was in pain, even and this is when I was getting treatment. This is when I wasn't on the drug anymore. I was getting treatment. I was seeing my counselor almost every day, but the weekends, on the right track, going to church, taking my classes to become a Catholic, doing everything in my power to stay on path. And I'm doing so well, but having anxiety every night, I'm like, what do I do? Writing in my journal, seeing my therapist 2 times a month. Doing everything in my power. And there for a while I had clozapam and I already knew, like, I could just tell by taking it that this was going to be another addiction. So I was taking it so moderately. This was before like the 5 months. This was other times that I dealt with anxiety. So I knew clozapam would work, but I didn't want to get addicted to another. I just didn't want to get addicted to another compound. Like why would I want to go through that? I heard that getting addicted to benzos is actually worse than getting addicted to opioids because it's harder to get off benzos than it is to get off opioids. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I can't speak for that, but like, wow, right? So I wanted to fix this issue, and I went and talked to several doctors, and they put me on different medications. Most of them weren't addictive medications, but they were, basically just stuff to help anxiety, and they really didn't work. They helped a little bit. Then I started taking nootropics, bromelain and different nootropics that are for anxiety, and don't get me wrong, like they would work. They would work for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. They would take the pain away and let me rest a little bit, but it would come right back. These nootropics half-lives are usually short, so you don't stay stabilized for a while, like you need to. So I knew the nootropics, and spending $400 every 2 weeks on nootropics wasn't the answer. But I was like, well, if I got to spend that just to feel good for a couple hours every night, I don't care. I'll do it. So doing my research, and I found ketamine, and I saw like ketamine IV therapy and how it can help depression and anxiety. and just seeing all the posts about it and how it helped them. And I was like, well, I'm dealing with anxiety, and I talked to a couple of different people. I was like, do I need to do the IV therapy? I would rather is there like an oral form? And they're like, yeah, there's oral forms, there's nasal. And I was like, well, maybe I'll start with that. And I found this company after looking into so many different companies and realizing how much this was going to cost. I mean, IV ketamine therapy is very expensive. I mean, you're probably talking $600 to $1,500 a treatment, but you're sitting there with a doctor, a psychiatrist, a nurse, whoever. You're talking about your problems. You're going through the issues and categorizing your issues. And they say you walk out of there with feeling so much better. Like it takes all your depression away and you figure your life out. So like if you have severe depression, don't worry about the cost. Worry about your life. Worry about living right and living correctly. Don't worry about the cost. Now I had anxiety, so I was like, well, maybe I can just do the oral form and see how it works for me. And all my research is telling me that's what I need to do. Now, granted, people abuse this drug, obviously, in other countries, in our country, and it kind of gets a bad name. If you want to read all about ketamine and know all about it, know about the science, and I can talk about that later on, but there's a good Wikipedia page on this topic. So I found this company, and it was an oral form of ketamine, and it was only $125 a month. And I'm like, wow, like that's completely reasonable. And I'm like, dude, I'm doing everything in my power to better my life. If I just get my anxiety on track, I mean, I'm ready to continue this journey. And I will never go back to that medication. I will never go back to that opioid. I just need to fix my anxiety. And every day I'm looking for the answer, because why not? I'm in pain every single night. Why wouldn't I be looking for the answer? I don't understand if you have depression or you're an advocate for depression or mental health, but you don't even have your life sorted, how can you help others? And that's what I do for a living, is help others. How can I help others when I can't even fix myself? So I know I have to fix this issue. And that's like my whole philosophy with this business is like, I get an issue, I fix it. And then, I do my research and read all these different articles and studies, and I figure it out, and then I fix the problem, but I can also help other people. And that's what my business is all about, is helping other people. No matter what the issue is, I want to help you. But if I can't help myself and I can't fix my issues and I'm not looking for the answer every single day, then I'm a hypocrite. So that's why I never gave up. That's why I was looking for the answer every single day. So I scheduled an appointment with the doctor at this company. And if you need to know any of this information, all you got to do is email me. I will point you in the right direction happily for free. I know it's about depression, anxiety, this mental health stuff. I want to just help you for free. Absolutely want to help you. So I had an appointment with a doctor within hours. And I was like, wow, this is great. Got on the Zoom call with the doctor, sat there in my car, had to leave dinner with my family. And I was like, hey, I got a doctor appointment. They're like, really? And I was like, yeah. So I went to my car and I started talking to her, and it was like a 15-minute phone call, and she was asking me all these questions, and she's like, you have depression. I was like, I don't feel like I have depression, but I was like, you're the expert. What you say is correct. I'm not going to discredit you, but I don't feel like I have depression. I'm very happy. And she's like, so what's your main issue? And I was like, my main issue is anxiety. And I explained it to her completely, and she was like, oh, okay. And it's like, yeah, your dopamine levels in bad shape. And the beauty of ketamine is over time, this can heal it. And you can actually, after maybe 6 months of use or a little bit longer, you can come off the ketamine or come down off the ketamine to a low dosage and be completely fine and never have to deal with this again. You might need to take little moderate dosages every so often, but you'll never have to deal with anxiety ever again like this. You'll fix the neurons in your brain to where your brain can control the anxiety again. I was like, that sounds amazing. And then, I paid for it. They created the shipping label. They got it sent to my house. It took about a week because, all the process of the paperwork, I had to sign all these documents, all that stuff. You know how that goes. When you first initially start, it takes longer than it should. But normally when you're in the program, it doesn't take long to get they're going to send you a pack every single month, or they'll send you a pack when you run out. But you're going to get a pack every single month. So I started it, and they, reading the directions, it said, like, when you first start ketamine, like, some people don't even feel it in the very beginning. And so you just got to understand that. And if you're not feeling it, just take it slow. And I was so excited to try this because I was like, I just had faith that it would work. I just knew in my heart it was going to work. So when I got it in, they told me to start at 15 milligrams. So I'm taking little bites of this. It's like a candy. It's like an orange candy that you put in your lip, and you basically put in your lip and you allow your gums to absorb the candy. So it obviously goes through the blood-brain barrier and you absorb it sublingual. So it gets in your bloodstream, and it's a really good concept. Another good form would be nasal spray, but I feel like nasal spray wouldn't last as long, but I don't know. And then you got IV and et cetera, et cetera. So I start taking it, and I notice right away at night, I don't have anxiety. I'm like, wow, this is already working. I'm not really, but I'm like, in my heart, I'm like, I don't really feel it, but I don't have anxiety. So I feel like it's doing the job. Maybe it's a placebo effect. I don't know. So I start taking a little bit more. They wanted me to start at 15 milligrams. I'm already, every couple hours, I'm just scared that my anxiety is going to come back. So I keep taking little bites of it throughout the night. Every time I wake up, I take more. And, I go to the bathroom and I'm like, man, my legs feel heavy and I feel kind of drowsy. And I'm like, okay, well that must be the ketamine. And it for sure was. Like if you take too much ketamine, your legs are going to get heavy. You're going to feel kind of drowsy, a little dizzy, really tired. You just want to lay down. So if you have something you have to do, you're going to feel like complete. You're just going to feel, it's not like a terrible feeling, but it's like you're tired and you just want to sleep basically. And you can sleep. So in the beginning for the first couple of weeks, I was taking 30 milligrams and I went up to 40 and 50 and 60. And I didn't want to go up that high, but I'm sitting around 60. Some days I'm doing 30. It just depends on the day. I wasn't doing it much in the daytime, but it was like a little bit before bedtime and then obviously at bedtime. Because the idea is they want you to just take it at bedtime. So then I'm doing really well and I'm like, man, this stuff's really working. You got to check in every day with the doctor through basically it's like a questionnaire that they send to your phone every single day about your dosage and they approved me for 60 milligrams. Like you can even go up to 90 and or 120. You can go up even more if you need to. And I started to realize like some days I'm like not even taking it. Like I don't even need it. I'm like, this stuff's already working. Now, granted, the half-life is a little bit longer and, the onset half-life is pretty short, but you start to see the benefits and it lasts a long time. So now I'm at the point where some days I'm taking 15 milligrams. The next day I might take none. The next day after that, I might take 30 milligrams. And the next day I might take 5 milligrams just to go to bed. And then the next day I might take none. And the next day I might not have the best day. So I'll take a 50 to 60 milligrams. It just depends. Like some days I won't need any. Some days I might need a decent amount, but I never go over 60 milligrams. Like I never need to. So most days on average, I would say I'm doing about 15 milligrams to 25 milligrams, I would say. But I mean, it's just unreal. Like this stuff is working. This stuff is doing the job. It's doing exactly what I need it to do. And it's such a beautiful thing when you finally fix your anxiety or depression. And when you finally fix it, it's like, wow, saying this too shall pass. I was exactly right, 100% right. And I'm glad I waited it out. I'm glad I was strong. I'm glad I didn't give up. If I wasn't a positive person and if I didn't realize how beautiful life was, like I truly think life on earth it can be beautiful. What we have, our blessings, we should be thanking God for waking up in the morning, thanking God for putting our feet on the floor, thanking God that we have a roof over our head. We should be thanking God for almost everything in our lives. And if it wasn't for that outlook, a person that had to deal with that sort of pain every single night, they might have took their life. And that's sad to say, but when you're in that amount of pain and you can't find the answer, thank God that I literally have God on my side. And ketamine for sure saved my life. I really believe that. I feel like it gave me a new life. And I want to continue to talk about this journey. I want to continue to talk about my addiction and how I'm doing and how I'm beating it and how I'm coming so far and doing every single thing in my power to better my life every day, whether it's my religion, talking to my counselor online, updating her with my journey, talking to my therapist twice a month and his support, finding the best therapist I could possibly find, having family support me, not judging me, journaling every single day, multiple times a day, venting in my journal. So there's going to be a lot more videos kind of on this topic. But today I really wanted to just talk about ketamine, my basic journey, why I had these issues with anxiety, how I fixed them, And I want to continue to talk about, how terrible this opioid is and how it can literally own your life and how it's evil. It can literally own your life. It literally can own your life. You may not understand that, but I will explain that in further videos. I want to talk more about this. I want to talk about my journey. Basically, I want to talk about everything. So if you're interested, watch the next several videos because I'm going to do videos on this topic more and more and more. But what this video was about was to explain the problem, the solution, the journey, and what ketamine can do for you. I truly feel if you have depression or anxiety, whether it's little or massive, ketamine, give it a try. Just try it. Email me. I'll give you the source. Pay the $125. Just give it a month. Just see. Take it slow. If you're addicted to benzos, say you take clozapam, diazepam, Xanax, Ativan, whatever the case may be, I don't judge you. We don't judge you. But with ketamine, you could start the ketamine treatment gradually, nicely, and slowly come off those. And you could start this process the correct way and not have that addiction. The benzo addiction is so common. If you went to a dinner party and there's 20 people there, I would say 50% are addicted to some type of benzo that they need it every single night to sleep. Sad, but it's true. I don't judge those people, but these addictions can kind of own your life because you can't go anywhere without them. And then eventually, like if you're taking this stuff for a long time, sometimes your doctor will be like, hey, we need to go lower dosage on this. Hey, I don't need you taking this no more. Like imagine if that happens. Like, wouldn't you rather fix the problem than they take your medication away years down the road? Because it's like you take one of these benzos and, the anxiety and pain goes away. And the next day you're doing good and then it hits you again. Wouldn't you rather take something that's going to last and then for a couple of days you're not even going to need it? And then when you do need it, it's there. So I just feel like if you are addicted to a benzo and you want to switch, do it very slowly. Obviously take the clozapam, diazepam, whatever when you need it, but lower the dosage. Take a half a pill instead of a full pill. If you're taking 2 pills, start with 1 3/4, gradually go down so slowly. Take your normal dosage and just gradually drop it, but only take it when you need it. But I would advise you trying the ketamine first before trying one of those benzos and seeing if the ketamine will actually take the anxiety away. But if you have severe depression, you have one of these issues like that, you might want to consider IV therapy. With IV therapy, doing the oral therapy, having it there, like doing both would be literally the best thing you could do for yourself. Personally believe that. Onset depression could be terrible, absolute terrible. But like if you have these issues, why aren't you actively trying to find the answer? Why do you want to live like this? Don't live like it. Don't accept it. Don't accept depression. Don't accept anxiety. You don't have to accept that. Use Jesus as a source. Talk to him. Write in your journal. There will be better days. This too shall pass, I assure you. But give ketamine a try. Just try it. More than likely, it's going to work for you. I believe in my heart it will help a lot of people. There might be a couple that it doesn't help them, but I think for the majority, it will. So giving it a try and experiencing it and working with it, you owe that to yourself. You owe it to yourself to try. Now, there's going to be more videos. This is only part 1 of the ketamine journey. I'm going to continue this. There's so many videos I have to make. So many videos. I want to make more, obviously, on this topic. I want to make more on anxiety, depression, more on opioid dependency, benzo dependency. I want to talk about tranquility and how valuable peace is to your life and how to find peace. And I want to talk about all this stuff, and I'm going to. So if this was something that you enjoyed, and I know the video is very long, but there's so much to go over. Listening to this on your way to work, on a long road trip, or when you're just chilling at home and your headphones are on, that's what it's all about. And it's all about us helping each other. So if you have any advice for me, feel free to email me at info@parentfitness.com. Feel free to communicate with me. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me your experiences. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm always there. I'm always there for my people, always there for my followers, my clients, the individuals that I coach, the individuals that, I work with every single day. This is what I do for a living. And I owed it to myself to find the answer when I was basically sick, but I owed it to my followers and subscribers and the people that people that basically follow me and believe in me, my clients. I wanted to find this answer so I could help others. Like, that was my main focus. I was like, if I know what fixes this, I was like, I could help so many people. And that was the idea. And that's why I worked so hard at it. And that's why I didn't give up, because I knew once I found this answer, I could help so many other people. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share. Any of your friends that are dealing with depression, anxiety, or anything like that, please send this video to them so they can follow, they can subscribe, they can watch the videos as they come on, because these can be very helpful to those types of people. Now, let's not judge anyone. Let's not judge others. Let's support others. Let's come together, unify, and just help our brothers and sisters, help our neighbors, our cousins, our loved ones. No matter, a random person on the street, let's help each other. Life is all about love and caring for one another. That's what Jesus literally wants us to do, is to support each other, care for one another, love each other, show respect and love. Like, that's what it's all about. And that stuff will make you feel better too. So let's help each other on each other's journeys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, share. Till next time, God bless and take care.